Hello and welcome to the first installment of Chaos Take. I am your host, Syrakul. I will discuss the Defiler, the iconic, somewhat dated, and first plastic demon engine for the Chaos Space Marines, its history, background and its position in 9th edition Warhammer 40k. Abaddon the Despoiler himself ordered the creation of these demon engines by the Dark Mechanicum of Forge World Xanadu within the Eye of Terror. Before the First Black Crusade, he required the devastating weapon to drive fear into the Corpse Emperor's followers and to demonstrate the superiority of chaos. Using complex arcane rites, the adepts of the Dark Mechanicum work alongside sorcerers to draw forth the essence of a demon from the warp and trap it within the rune-bound hull of a Defiler. Enraged at this containment, the demon must be sedated with spells of pacification, which are lifted at the start of battle. They are monstrous crab-like artillery platforms, driven forth by their bound demon pilot. Uncaring for the safety of their physical cage, and immortal in the immaterium, the demon fearlessly strides forward, shrugging off blows that would debilitate mortal crews. Defilers are host to a variety of both long and short-range weaponry. Massive front claws can rip through vehicles with ease, while dual heavy flammers or deadly scourges decimate infantry. A massive battle cannon and secondary heavy armaments rain hell down onto the battlefield. At the start of 9th edition, the Defiler received a new lease on life, thanks to points adjustments, changes to vehicle moving and shooting in combat. I started looking at them based on their relatively similar cost, yet far enhanced profile versus Dreadnoughts. We will look at that, but first, Death Guard. Now that the Death Guard Codex is here, further points and stat changes have arrived, which are likely to stay in a future Chaos Space Marines Codex. Let's take a look at the changes. Better stats, including long-needed BSWS 3+. Although they now both degrade with damage taken. Smoke is now a stratagem, typical with vehicles in 9th. Contagions apply to it, which is a good sign compared to 8th Ed Chaos Space Marines trait effects not applying to Defilers. We will compare the 8th edition Chaos Space Marine Defiler with the new Death Guard Codex Defiler, but first I'd like to discuss some of the competition the Defiler has in the Chaos Space Marine list. Hell Brutes. They have also received some significant changes in the Death Guard Codex, but right now Chaos Space Marine players already gain moving and shooting, and the ability to use ranged weapons in combat, protecting your dedicated ranged dreadnoughts from tar pitting. These two have seen promising adjustments in the Death Guard Codex, and we will compare with that unit entry in this video. Forge Fiends have similarly benefited, and are looking like useful primarist killers with their improved accuracy Hades autocannons, especially in light of the nerf to Contemptors with butcher cannons. Molnar Fiends, as a melee platformer similarly compared to Defilers, and I would prefer the later even within the Chaos Space Marines Codex at this time. Here we have the Chaos Space Marines 8th Codex Defiler, with a base cost of 135 points, with a 5+ invulnerable save, and healing a wound each turn. At 14 ones it is quite tank for that price. The bonus to shooting and melee by the Lord Discordant, along with its movement 8 means you can keep up alongside, shooting along then busting heads in CC when they both connect. And the battle cannon, now with a more effective blast, is a nice bonus on top of its melee frame, inviting comparisons to the Lehman Russ battle cannon tank, which at a minimum costs 160 points. The Death Guard Defiler now has shifted which stats degrade, altering movement, ballistic skill and weapon skill, and degrading its profile at 7 wounds left, then 3 wounds. It also gained a point on its weapon skill, ballistic skill, and attacks. The basic cost has increased to 165 points, although some of this could be a Death Guard specific points bump based on Death Guard vehicle upgrades like Demonic Gluttony. The new Defiler cannon is even better, now that it is a flat 3 damage blast weapon. Coupled with its ballistic skill 3+, it is a great buff, befitting its cost increased by 30 points. The new Death Guard Hellbrute has gotten a few buffs in its own right, losing movement and gaining 1 attack for 5 more points. Monstrous resilience, like Loyalists, is amazing at deflecting immediate damage weapons. Of course, in 8th edition we saw traits affect Hellbrutes. In 9th we see them get core, a fundamental keyword for army benefits and character buffs. When comparing it to the Defiler, it of course has a smaller height profile to its benefit. If we are asking which one to take, the detachment slot, melee ranged requirement, and weaponry are questions we need to consider. Ranged wise, the Baiting Defiler cannon and free Havoc launcher arm options outclass the Hellbrute's missile launcher. Even a long-range loadout Defiler has its strength 16, damage 3, claws as backup. Both units have same costs for twin-linked heavy weapons. The Hellbrute however has an improved frenzy, granting reroll 1 single quotes to wound to all its attacks, so long as it has taken 1 wound. That could turn out vital for those last cannon shots. When looking at a melee Hellbrute, the movement nerf hurts. Taking Hellbrute Fist in Scourge means 5 strength 12 attacks at -3 AP and respectable damage 3, and 3 more strength 7 attacks at -2 damage 2. All this likely re-rolling 1 single quotes thanks to Frenzy, for a maximum damage potential of 21, or 8 models dead. The Defiler wounds toughness 8 on 2 single quotes, with a fluctuating damage potential up to 36 damage, averaging damage rolls at 23.5, or 8 models dead. The higher Defiler strength typically beats the Hellbrute's Frenzy reroll when fighting tougher targets. Next is the Molnar Fiend, which isn't available to Death Guard, so we simply have its current profile in the 8th edition Chaos Marine Codex. We can expect its weapon skill and attacks to improve, although it might start to suffer degradation profile on those stats. At strength 6, and with overall worse weapons compared to both 8th and 9th edition Defilers, I would prefer the Defiler. Last is the Forge Fiend. Similar to the Molnar Fiend, we are not sure where it will end up, though overall better at its role and with improved ballistic skill is a given. Currently the cheapest option being the 2 ectoplasm cannons at 125 points, and more expensive being 145 points for 3 cannons. Taking the more reliable and ranged Hades autocannons at 135 points gives a total potential damage of 16 damage or 8 dead models. But with its poor AP it will be unlikely to ever pull this off. The current, or improved Defiler is a clear winner over the Forge Fiend. But with the Forge Fiend's unique arsenal, Games Workshop is freely able to buff as required in the next book. In my opinion, the Defiler is a clear winner in the Chaos Space Marines Codex at 145 points, though it must compete in the heavy support section with the likes of Obliterators and Evokes, along with their character buff damage output. Hellbrutes are in a good spot when looking at their Death Guard profile, but not as good in the current Chaos Space Marines list, without the -1 to damage Loyalists receive. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave comments and let me know what other videos you would like to see, preferably within the forces of chaos.